Hello students, in this video we are going to start chapter number 10 of history, new empires and kingdoms. So, just like this boy, Arvind, you all might have played the role of some or the other king in your school, or you would have seen somebody perform. So, where do you think we come to know about how the kings actually looked like? The things they wore, how they sat, how they wore. So, we are going to talk about all those things in this chapter. Let us start Prashasthis and what they tell us. Arvind was supposed to be acting as Samudragupta. Samudragupta, a famous ruler of a dynasty known as the Guptas. We know about Samudragupta from a long inscription, so we all know that archaeologists study different type of sources which also include inscriptions. These inscriptions were written by the people who belong to long time back. And this inscription was inscribed on Ashokan pillar at Allahabad. Now there is a pillar in Allahabad which is also known as Ashokan pillar. On this pillar there is an inscription written about the king Samudragupta. From there we come to know about him. It was composed as Kavya. Kavya means poem by Harisena, who was a poet and a minister at the court of Samudragupta. So, this long inscription was written as a poem by the poet Harisena. This inscription is a special kind known as a Prashasti, a Sanskrit word meaning in praise of. So, Prashastis were written praising the kings. While Prashastis were composed for some of the rulers you read about in chapter 9, such as Gautami Putra Sri Satkarni. We studied in previous chapter that Gautami Putra Sri Satkarni was a Satvahana ruler or king. We also find Prashastis belonging to him. They became far more important from the time of the Guptas. So, in this chapter, we are going to talk about a new dynasty or new dynasty of rulers who were known as the Guptas. Samudragupta's Prashasti. Let us see what Samudragupta's Prashasti tells us. The poet Harisena praised the king in glowing terms as a warrior, as a king who won victories in battle, who was learned and best of poets. He is also described as equal to the gods. The Prashasti was composed in very long sentences. Here is a part of one such sentence. Samudragupta, the warrior, whose body was most charming, being covered with plenteous beauty of the marks of hundreds of scars caused by battle axes, arrows, spikes, spears, barbed darts, swords, iron clubs, javelins, barbed arrows, long arrows, and many other weapons. Now, this description tells us that Samudragupta was a king who had actually fought a lot of battles. He might not have a very charming or very strong body as it has been described, because see, the thing is, these poets used to write, exaggerate and write. Most of the things they wrote about the kings were actually not true. These people actually wrote to make the kings happy. And What it tells us about the kings who fought wars is that different type of weapons were used during the warfare, such as javelins, iron clubs, swords, darts, arrows, etc. If you look at map 7, page 105, you will notice an area shaded in green. You will also find a series of red dots along the east coast, and you will find the areas marked in purple and blue as well. Let us see the map here. We can see this is the map, and these are the red dots. This is the green area, purple area, blue area. So, the red dots show us the cities which were conquered by the Guptas. And apart from that, these were the black dotted cities were the cities already belonging to Guptas, and the purple portion shows inner state of the Guptas, blue portion is outer state of Guptas, and green portion shows us the area of Aryavrat. We'll study about it as we proceed in the chapter. The map is based on the information provided in the Prashasti. Harishena describes four different kind of rulers and tells us about Samudragupta's policies towards them. So who were these four different kind of rulers? The first were the rulers of Aryavrata. Aryavrata, that is the green portion. The area shaded in green on the map. Here there were 9 rulers who were uprooted and their kingdoms were made a part of Samudragupta's empire. So ये जो आर्यव्रत का रीजन था, this region of Aryavrat, it had 9 rulers and their area was conquered by Samudragupta. Second were the rulers of Dakshinapath. Here there were 12 rulers, some of whose capitals are marked with red dots on the map. They surrendered to Samudragupta after being defeated, and then he allowed them to rule again. Those first were rulers of Aryavrata, second the rulers of Dakshinapath. The Prashasti tells us that the rulers of Dakshinapath actually surrendered before Samudragupta because Samudragupta was a very strong ruler, and later on, after defeating them, Samudragupta allowed them to rule again. The third were the inner circle of neighboring states, including Assam, coastal Bengal, Nepal, and a number of Gada Sanghas. In the northwest, these are marked in purple on the map. They brought tribute, followed his orders, and attended his court. The fourth were the rulers of outlying areas, marked in blue on the map. Perhaps the descendants of the Kushanas. Kushanas, we talked about Kushanas in previous chapter, and Shakas, and the ruler of Sri Lanka, who submitted to him and offered daughters in the marriage. So these four type or these four different kind of rulers who were defeated by Samudragupta are actually, this information is actually according to the Prashasti which is being written by Harisena. We don't actually know whether it is true or not. Now here you can see these are the coins. These were the coins belonging to the Gupta period, especially Samudragupta. The king who played the veena. Veena is an instrument which goddess Saraswati plays. Some other qualities of Samudragupta are shown on coins, such as this one, where he is shown playing the veena. So, apart from being a very strong and very powerful military ruler, he was also a very good, apart from being a poet, Samudragupta was also very good at playing veena. This was another quality of Samudragupta, which the sources tell us.